Just move that around here. Hello, everyone. Blessed be. Welcome to the Mystery Witch School. Another another YouTube live stream. Welcome to those of you watching the replay as I wait for YouTube to get the notifications out and see who is interested in talking about life purpose. And for those of you watching the replay, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Mystery Witch School YouTube channel. Today, we're talking about life purpose and ways that you can tap into your purpose if you're feeling a little off purpose at the moment. We are also here. The Mystery Witch School is here for you to with videos on all things to do with witchcraft, Wicca, magic, tarot, and shadow work, or that inner work, that self-exploration work, the know thyself part of the craft. And those are the videos that I have on this channel, and I've got quite a few playlists that focus on those particular areas. So if you're interested in all of those areas or just one or two of those areas, if you go actually click on the channel, you'll see all the different playlists, and they're all under the playlists, very organized. Okay, hello. Have you ever incorporated DMT with your witchcraft? No, I haven't. I haven't actually incorporated DMT or anything that contains DMT. But yeah, I know people who have, and it's incredible. They have incredible experiences from it. So, but no, I haven't personally done it. When it comes to those sorts of things, everybody, I guess, is different. And because I've got a very overactive mind, I tend to find that it just goes a little crazy when I'm working with anything like plant medicines or anything like that. So I don't do it so much. It's crazy when you scry into the mirror with it. I imagine it would be. It would be. Or black obsidian. Absolutely. So also for those of you who are new to the channel, if you want to know where to start your witchcraft practice, but you're just sort of fumbling around trying to figure out, well, where do I actually start? And if I'm going to learn this and learn how to do it, and there's so much out there to learn, how do I pace myself along the way? I have a free masterclass. It's a video. It's called How to Start Your Witchcraft Practice. There's links on the YouTube channel. There's links in this underneath this video once it is published and processed. And I'm just going to pop a link in the chat as well. You can also find links to download that free video on my website, which is mysterywitchschool.com. Today, we're talking about life purpose. So this is about, sort of a bit more of a deep dive into ourselves and know thyself, knowing who we are, trying to tap into a little bit of more about why we came here and also who and what we are. What are we really? And what are we doing here and who are we? Last live, I did a meditation asking the question, who am I? So that we could get more of a feel of our spirit selves or our magical selves as our true self, as opposed to running around with the ego self, which is that part of ourselves that we believe we should be, or we believe that we are, because that's what we've been programmed sort of to believe through our upbringing. Yet at the end of the day, it's not really who we truly are. And so when we're not feeling connected to ourselves, we're feeling disconnected or pinched off from ourselves, or pinched off from spirit, pinched off from the divine, however you perceive that. It's because we're caught up in the ego self, which is the false self. It's not the real self. It's that part of us that's designed to keep us safe, but it lives in fear because that's its role, to keep us safe. So it's a persona of fear, and our reactions to life are often reactions to fear, the fear for our life, essentially. So when we're looking at trying to figure out who our true self is, or what our how higher self is, our true will is, we have to distance ourselves and detach ourselves from the ego self in order to tap into that higher part of ourselves that is eternal, that is a divine spark, that is a basically divine as god or goddess and learn about who we actually are. And our life purpose is a part of that. It's a part of an opportunity to connect to who we truly are. Okay, so just go back into the comments. Freezing? Am I freezing? It may have something to do with the internet's a bit dodgy today. No, it's smooth, so maybe it's somebody else's internet. Okay, okay. So I'm going to give you three things to think about to help you connect to your life purpose. I have another YouTube channel. It is called Sandra Inman Tapping. So it's at Sandra Inman Tapping. And I've just recently on Friday did a video where I'm using emotional freedom technique, which is an energy healing technique to help you connect more into your life purpose through asking these questions. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to put a link to that tapping video. Uh, at the bottom of this video when it's processed. So it'll be in the description field once it's processed. But the first thing to think about when it comes to life purpose is going back into your history a little bit, going way back into your history. And that's your childhood. When you were a child, you would have had things you liked to do, things you loved to do, things you really wanted to spend your free time doing. And what were those things? What did you enjoy doing as a child? And do you still do those things now? Are they still part of your life in some way now, in some shape or form? Often we leave things that we enjoyed from childhood back in our childhood when we come into adult life because we get into the whole having to survive thing, we get into the having to work thing, and we get into having to be adults in the world. And often that's when we get pinched off from who we are. So when you were a child, what did you enjoy doing? And not just as in activities that you enjoyed doing, but in your make believe world as a child, if you can think back, what were you in your make believe world? What were you doing in the make believe world? So, for example, when I was a child, I loved singing and I loved dancing and I loved the arts. I also loved to go on these sorts of adventures within my imagination where that were quite mystical and quite magical. So there was a lot of fantasy and imagination around being a witch or being a magical being, or sometimes I would see I had a particular doll that I had that I used to pretend was like a doll that had magical powers. And so I would play games either with friends or even just with myself where I was in a magical kind of realm. And because I was always interested, even as a child, in things like ESP and psychic phenomena. So my background had one of performing arts, but it also had this interest in uh, magic and mysticism. So that was there right back in my childhood, and it was featured in the games that I played and the things that I was interested in. So when you're thinking about what you did back when you were a child and what your interests were and what you fantasized about and those sorts of things, you'll find that if you write them down, you'll get a sense of there's a theme there that's informing your purpose, what you came here to explore, what you came here to do. So I'll just read the comments before they disappear up. So we've got here, Seti said that I found out my life purpose is to help others through magic. Chronic illness makes that incredibly difficult, but I believe even that this is part of my journey for growth. Tara Destroyer. Okay. Oh, you're talking about something else. Okay. Okay. I think you've pressed return a few times. Okay. Life purpose is to help others through magic. Okay. I don't know what's going on there. So it's Think about that. Tune in, go back into how that was, for you. Yeah, think back into how that was for you, back into your childhood. When it comes to your childhood, I think a lot of the time we don't follow through on our dreams or our desires, what we were doing, because as children, we were often told it wasn't important or that it wasn't real. I know a lot of children, a lot of people that I know saw like nature spirits and fairies and that when they were younger, but somehow grew out of it because we were told that they didn't exist. And so, as adults, particularly adults involved in the craft, we're wanting to get back and touch with those abilities again and connect back with nature again. Maybe when you were a child, you really enjoyed being out in nature. And I remember that was a big part of my childhood as well. I loved going on rainforest walks and being in nature. There was something very real about nature that didn't feel like the other life, the city life, the life of school just didn't feel as real as being in nature felt real. So there was that connection with nature right from the get-go as well. So, number 2, after you've gone through your childhood and looked back at your childhood and what you're interested in, ask yourself what is important to you? What is important to you? What would you sacrifice your time for? What is something that you really value doing in your life? You may not be doing it because you may have put other things as a priority, or you may feel you can't do it because there's other priorities. But if you could do it, or in not doing it, it's causing you to feel like something is missing. So that's another indicator of what your purpose might be. So, for example, if music is important to you, playing music, playing an instrument is important to you, it's something you're very willing to give up your time for, and you wish you could give up more of your time for. Maybe it's something you love doing as a child as well, but maybe you're not doing it so much anymore. If that music or the playing of that music could be part of your life purpose. Life purpose doesn't mean it's something you're going to have as a career. It doesn't mean that it's some big grand thing. It can be a lot of things along the way in your life. As you come into this existence, every experience that you have is part of your purpose. It's part of it. You're always on purpose. You're always connecting to your purpose here. It's just something that happens when you come into life. So it's not like you've got to find this big grandiose purpose. You've got to be this big grandiose thing. It can be what you're doing with your life that brings you joy, that brings you happiness, and a way that you find that in that joy and in that happiness, you somehow seem to be serving other people doing it. It seems to help others as you're doing it. So if you are into music, even just playing to your friends and family and them enjoying it can be you using your purpose to, or what's part of your purpose, to bring joy to other people, to serve other people. So it's a way of looking at what's important to me, what would I sacrifice my time to do that I really want to do, and how does that serve not just myself, but also serves other people as well. It doesn't have to be a big thing, and it can just be you can have a number of different activities that you do, a number of different things that are part of your purpose. It doesn't have to be one thing. It can be a lot of different things that when you bring them all together and you look at them and you look at your history with them, you can see how it's been a theme throughout your life. And that when you indulge in that purpose, when you indulge in doing that, you're somehow bringing joy to yourself, and you also have the potential to bring joy to other people too. It doesn't have to be a lot of people. It could just be family. It could just be friends. It could be local community. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Okay. Okay, I'm going to probably stop the chat, unfortunately, because it's just not working. Um, okay, okay. There's a lot of spam going on in the comments, so I know Mercury's in a weird place for me at the moment, so I'm just gonna go with that. So, if people are in the comments, please be civil, okay? It's not about spamming, it's not about, having arguments in the comments, okay? So, if you are having issues with being able to be civil in the comments field, then, don't comment, okay? Okay. Okay, I know what to do. So, that is number 2. Number 3 is, what are your talents? What are you actually good at? Like, what are you good at? What things would you, even if you have more training, more skill, could you be exceptionally good at? What are you good at that you don't necessarily needed training to just know that you're good at something? It'll probably be something you're interested in. So it needs to be something you're interested in, something that you're good at, something that you're naturally gifted at doing, naturally good at, and something that that's important to you, that you're willing to spend your time doing. Going way back into your childhood, the things that you did back in your childhood, and remembering what those things were. Where do you see the themes keep popping up in your life so far? Where do you see your talents in that area? How does the things that you did as a child, the things that you were interested in, when you bring them together, because if there's multiple different things, as an adult, how do you bring those things together to do what you really feel you want to do in the world? So, for example, if I'm using myself as an example, for me, it was a case of being very interested in the performing arts, and also having that interest in magic and mysticism and all of that. And I never thought for ever thought that I would be doing YouTube videos on witchcraft and the like. It was something that I totally didn't plan on doing, but because I had a background in performing, doing video was something I wasn't unfamiliar with, and it was also something that I was comfortable with. So and because I don't like writing, so I'm not somebody who's into writing a lot of books or blogs or anything like that, video is easier for me. So hence somehow end up on YouTube doing videos about Wicca and witchcraft. There's a part of me too that came also from my childhood years, where anything that I learned myself, anything that I discovered myself or discovered to be helpful to me, I want to share with other people. So that's another thing that was running through my life as well, that desire to share what I've learned, to share what I've discovered with other people. So when I look at what I'm doing now, I look at that background and I see that the interests that I had as a child, and also that desire to share things, is actually what has brought me to where I am now. But all of those things from all of my life have been part of my purpose. Everything has been part of my purpose. It's not like I was ever off purpose, because everything that's happened to me in my life has led me to where I am now. And so wherever you are now is a part of your purpose. So where can you go from here? What can you learn from where you are now and from where you've been? And how do you then connect with that and turn it more into something you're more consciously aware of creating. Listening to your heart, listening to how you feel within yourself, and connect to those that feeling that I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing now. It's something that I can see when I look back. A lot of the pieces are like a jigsaw puzzle that have just started to fall into place. And that's because your history has prepared you for where you are now. So even if you're struggling with something now, so you know that your purpose is to help other people, it is to heal, it is to do magic and to help others through magic. And as the comment right at the very beginning was actually about knowing that even what you're struggling with now, you felt somehow was tied into that purpose too. And it probably is, no doubt, tied into your purpose. So it's finding where that is, where that actually fits into your helping other people as well as helping yourself too. Your purpose is something that also helps you. It's not like you're sacrificing yourself to fulfill a purpose. It's something that also fulfills you as well. That's why you go back into your childhood and look at the things that you were interested in that you still feel your inner child still loves to do, and how that informs where you are now, and how even where you are now can be a stepping stone to where you want to be. Okay. So asking these questions is all you need to do. So the first question is, what are your childhood interests? Question number 2 is, what is important to you that you are willing to sacrifice your time for or even money for? And what are your talents and skills that you have as an individual? And you don't have to think your way into your purpose. The purpose is something that it's kind of like your inner guidance leads you to your purpose because you've always been on purpose. You've always been living your purpose. So you're guided, always guided to continue with your purpose. It's that in knowing that you are on purpose, knowing that you want to be a little bit more conscious of your purpose, then that's where you really tap into these questions so that you feel connected to who you are and you feel like, okay, even if I don't know how I got here or why I'm here, when I look back at my history and I look back at everything, I can see that this is where I got to. So this is a part of my purpose, even if it's changes further down the track and you end up doing something else or whatever, it's still going to be part of your purpose. So it's not like you have to stick to something once you found it either. It's about being in the moment with what it is that you're doing and it bringing joy to you and hopefully other people at the same time. Okay. Okay. So, it's very interesting. I have Mercury in a really interesting place in my chart at the moment, so it's kind of funny that, there's all of this stuff going on, and I've also got Mars in a very interesting place too. So, astrology is another thing that can help you with, figuring out your purpose, only if really you're not confident with where you think you are going, because your natal chart in astrology is going to help you understand where you're heading, where you've been and where you're heading through your south node and your north node. So if you're a bit curious about what you're going towards or what you feel drawn towards, but you don't feel confident about maybe going in that direction, get your natal chart done. So all you need to do that is just to go and find a astrology platform. And most of them are pretty much free to get your natal chart. All you need is time of birth, where you were born, your date of birth, and find out where your south node and your north node are, because your south node is where you've been. It's also your first, pretty much your first 30 years in this life as well, and the things that you're comfortable in. And your north node is where you're wanting to be, where your soul is trying to direct you through your purpose. So, in that case, you may find that some of the north node stuff may be a little disconcerting. It may be challenging, even because it's somewhere you haven't really been yet, and it's where your next thing is. So, what I would add to those 3 things is if you know the time that you were born, the time is actually really important to know what your ascendant is, to do your natal chart, to find out where your north node and south node are, and that will give you a lot of information to help guide you as well. Okay. Okay. So that is all I'm going to talk about, today, about life purpose, and next week there may be a video, there may not be a live stream. I'm not exactly sure how I'm organizing next week yet. But if there is no live stream next week, there will be a live stream the following week. So for those of you who have enjoyed it, thank you. For those of you who want to find out more about life purpose, I will put that link into the tapping channel so that you could do some energy healing work to find your life purpose as well on top of this. And if you have any questions or anything, just pop them in the comments field. And I always answer questions in the comments field, or you can also email me to at mysterywitchschool.com. There is a contact section there and a form if you have any questions at all. If you want to learn witchcraft and Wicca with me, I have the Mystery Witch School 101 course. So that is a course that goes for 12 months, and it's where you get to be part of an online community, and we get together twice a month over Zoom for moon celebrations, as well as guided meditations and chat, as well as you having a course with monthly work to do. And it is a doing course. It's not a intellectual exercise. It's about getting a set of activities to do, and then for that whole month you do them, because it's through doing that you actually improve. Okay. So do enjoy yourselves for the next week, and I will see you on the next live stream.